There's a street in London where one water pump killed 616 people. And the map that caught it is the reason data maps exist at all. This is the story of the greatest chart ever drawn, and the plague it stopped. London, the last night of August, 1854. At 40 Broad Street, a 5-month-old girl gets sick. Her name is Frances Lewis. Remember the baby. Within 3 days, 127 of her neighbors are dead. Cholera doesn't negotiate. You're fine at breakfast. By noon, your body is losing a liter of water an hour. Your skin turns blue. By midnight, you're gone. By the end of September, 616 dead in one small neighborhood. And every expert in London knows exactly what's causing it. They are all wrong. This is put into perspective, the map that stopped a plague. First, understand the city. London, 1854, the biggest city on Earth. 2.5 million people drowning in their own filth. Cesspools under bedrooms, slaughterhouses beside bakeries. The Thames is an open sewer. Official science says disease comes from miasma, bad air. If it smells foul, it kills. And honestly, it wasn't a stupid theory. Disease really did cluster where the stink was. The stink and the sickness shared an address. They just weren't the same thing. And bad theories have body counts. To fight the smell, London flushed its cesspools straight into the Thames, the river it drank from. If the killer is in the water, they had just armed it. One man believed exactly that, Dr. John Snow, the Queen's own anaesthetist. 5 years earlier, he'd published the heresy, cholera is swallowed, not inhaled. His logic was simple. If cholera rides the air, why doesn't it attack the lungs? It attacks the gut, like something you drank. For 5 years, nobody listened. Now the proof he needed was killing his neighborhood. While Soho fled, Snow walked in, door to door, plague houses. One question at every door: who died here? Now, here's the move that changes history. Cholera data already existed. It looked like this: tables, ledgers, columns of the dead. You cannot see a killer in a table. Snow gave every death an address, a black bar, drawn at the house where it happened. He put the data in space. Because when data has a place, geography can testify. House by house, street by street, watch 600 deaths become evidence. Look at it. The bars stack up like tombstones. And they pile around one point: the water pump on Broad Street. Case closed? No, a cluster is not proof. A miasma believer just shrugs. The air is worse there. Here is what makes this the greatest chart ever drawn, not the pattern. The exceptions. 2 buildings inside the death zone stayed almost silent. Pause. Find them. Building 1, the workhouse. 535 residents packed inside. 9 deaths. Its neighbors were annihilated. It was barely touched. It had its own private well. Building 2, the brewery. 70 workers, 0 deaths. The hottest zone on the map. Untouched. Why? The workers drank beer all day. It was part of their pay. Brewing boils the water and ferments it. The beer killed the germ. The men who never drank water never got cholera. On the map, the silent buildings aren't holes in the theory. They're signatures. Every silence has a water source that isn't Broad Street. And then, the long-range clue. A widow dies 5 miles away, in Hampstead. No outbreak there, no bad air, nothing. Except she used to live in Soho, and she loved the taste of Broad Street water. She paid a cart to deliver a bottle every day. Her visiting niece drank a glass. Both died. The water travelled, and death travelled with it. Air doesn't do that. The map made the case, but Snow had a second chart, and most tellings skip it. South London got water from 2 rival companies, same streets, sometimes the same building. One company had moved its intake upstream, above the sewage, clean. The other still pumped from the filthy stretch of the Thames. 300,000 people were assigned clean or dirty water by one thing. Which company's pipe happened to reach their door? Same air, same streets, same jobs, different water. The largest natural experiment in human history, and nobody in it knew. The chart of the results: dirty water homes died at more than 8 times the rate. Bad air cannot explain that. Only the water can. September 7th. Snow carries the map into the parish boardroom. They don't believe him, but 600 neighbours are dead. Desperation is persuasive. September 8th. The handle comes off the Broad Street pump. The outbreak dies. Honest footnote: it was already fading. Half of Soho had fled. Snow admitted it himself. The handle was a symbol. The chart was the proof. Now meet the best character in this story, and it isn't Snow. Reverend Henry Whitehead, local curate, knew every family in the parish. He thought Snow was wrong and set out to bury the theory. He spent months re-interviewing every household, hunting the case that would break the map. Instead, he found where it all began. 40 Broad Street, the last week of August, a sick 5-month-old girl. Remember the baby? Her mother washed the diapers into the cesspool in front of the house. The cesspool's wall had rotted. It leaked. It sat 3 feet from the pump's well. Patient 0, found by the man who tried to disprove the chart. The skeptic checked the data. The data won. Epilogue. When the outbreak faded, officials put the handle back on. The Board of Health called Snow's theory unsupported. He died 4 years later, still dismissed. He was right about everything. And his map outlived them all. The COVID dashboard, the weather radar, election maps, crime heat maps. Everyone is this map's descendant. Data given a place, so geography can testify. There's a pub on that corner today. It's called the John Snow. Outside stands a replica pump. Its handle is missing, on purpose. 600 deaths became data. Data became proof. Proof saved millions. Next episode: the chart that killed 7 astronauts, unless you vote for a different one. What chart deserves the next story? Comments. This is put into perspective.